and this is Knot Nation. And I really wanted to show you guys the evolution of my entire experience in the dreadlock game. So this is the evolution of Knotlocks. Dreadlocks from locks number 1 to locks number 2 with a little bit of a lock cut in between. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you stay subscribed. This is the best in the Knot Nation content. And this video has been requested by many of you, and it's been in the works for a while. Finally getting it out today. Today is the day for the evolution of Knotlocks dreads. So without further ado, this video begins with my hair basically in an afro to 2-strand twists. So check this out. Essentially, my dread journey began with a 2-year afro. This is my afro at max length, picked out, and probably about 2 years of hair growth at this point in time. Actually the same as what I have right now in hair growth. Unfortunately, I don't have the photos at the moment of my 2-strand twists being put in, but essentially after 2-strand twisting my hair, I interlocked the roots of the new growth and it turned out like this. Once the new growth locked, I ended up taking out the 2-strand twists and crocheting them / locking them back together with knots and interlocks. I interlock the 2-strand twist back into a dread after the new growth was rooted. Essentially, this fixed the 2-strand twist from always coming unraveled whenever I washed my hair. And the fact that the roots were now interlocked, that means I could take out the 2-strand twist and redo it any way I wanted. That is going to make it dread. Essentially, I made a braid lock happen. But as the growth continued to go on these locks, it was very easy to maintain. It was just basically root flipping over and over, or whatever, every month or 3 weeks, which is also known as interlocking, which essentially gave me mad length every single time that I locked my hair. Maybe it's just because of my genetics that my hair grows fast, but I did notice a rapid speed in my hair growth. You can see the interlocks here quite parted on the roots. Notice how the locks here are kind of they're cylindrical, but they're very lumpy and kinky in parts. These are the scars from the interlocks that I have been doing on this set of locks. Some thin parts, some really thick parts, but essentially with these really thin interlocks, I was able to do braid outs like this. And this was me having my hair braided for about 5 days. I took it out and I got really crinkly hair. At this length, I had a lot of hair to shake around, a lot of hair to whip back and forth, but not nay-nay. I'll show you the back of my head right now. Maybe I can do this, something, I don't know. But the new growth at the back seems to be really slow compared to my new unmaintained growth at the front. In terms of these right here, frizzies coming up. At one point after the length, I did start to notice some molding in some of my interlocks, so I ended up trimming and uncombing a couple dreads, and this was in fact one dread that I uncombed because of the fact that I found mold in there. Okay, the whiteness of there, all up in here. Start to pick at it. Kind of goes everywhere. I don't really know. Oh yeah, I took a shot there. It's almost like dandruff. Yeah. Looking stuff. That's what I don't know. And it's always like inside the lock. As it kind of got to me, I ended up chopping my locks regardless of all the length that I had at this point. I felt like it was time for them to go. For me to have fixed and got rid of all the mold and so much hair and so many locks, I felt like it would have been a really big job that I just was not down for. I just felt like starting anew would be the best solution for such a job. And here, of course, in this update, I was looking at some of the dreads that are really short. That one actually is a freeform lock. It was a bunch of loose hairs that actually started coming together into a dread. So essentially this was the first freeform lock that I started to grow. In fact, before I actually had my locks chopped, I had my mother come in and help me trim them a little bit at first just to get a feeling of lesser hair, but this essentially did not play out so well because the ends were very frayed and kind of just coming undone. So basically I said fuck it, and I was gonna cut all of them off because of the whole mold issue. Just do your best to prevent mold. Don't go to bed with your hair wet. Don't put too much residue shit in your hair that's gonna cause mold, and eventually save yourself from having a decision like this. Although cutting your locks is part of the journey, it does not mean that your journey is over. You can always start afresh, start anew. So don't let it get you down. And essentially, I got a bag full of dreads off of that lock chop. And at this point, I should have just freeformed out from this afro, but I actually went to the barber a few times after this and started shaving my hair because I don't know, this is what I was used to having, was a shaved head. But at this point, it's a great time to start freeforming though. When your hair is cut like this, maybe just give it a good wash, a good rinse, apple cider, whatever, and then start dreading again, separate as needed. And it's actually a really great nappy start to start freeforming your locks again. And of course, it would have been a head start as well had I kept doing that. So eventually after that, this is the haircut I was talking about. So rest in peace was 6 years of dreads, pretty much down to a tapered fade. It's funny, hats fit again, but martini glasses were awkwardly large for some reason. After the fact that I cut my dreads, posted the video on YouTube, the video went pretty big, and I faced a backlash of people just telling me their opinions on how they felt I should have dealt with it, or I suck because I cut my hair. Honestly, this happens in the dread community for some reason. It'd be better if it didn't, and still support people even though they don't have locks. But some people, truthfully, are only there because they like your hair. They don't like you. They just like your hair. And that's what I saw. I saw a lot of people unsubscribing for the fact that I didn't have dreads anymore. So at this point, I was really asking myself, what's going to happen with my channel if I don't have dreads? That's why a lot of people left, because, oh, this guy doesn't have dreads anymore. He's not going to make content. That's when I actually started making the dread reviews and started creating the community of Knot Nation at that point, because I felt like there was more to be offered than just my dreads. It's not about my dreads. It's about your guys' locks too. So that's the direction the channel has taken. And from there, I decided, I'm going to finally go with the flow and start freeforming locks myself, because at one point I went to the barber shop and it was my third time cutting my hair since I cut my locks off, and I was going to go get my taper, my fade, and the guy nicked my ear and I started bleeding at the barber shop. And at that point, I was just like, it's not even worth it for me to come here every 3 weeks to get cut. Nah, literally. So I'm like, I'm just going to grow my hair back out. I saw videos on like Juan Hunter, or Axel Hunter now, Chin Miguel, Zaylock. Really, I was watching those guys. I'm like, I'm just going to go for it and see how this turns out. Which leads me to these new set of updates on the freeform journey. Gel. And this shit smells like Sunday dessert. Citrusy goodness. I don't know. It smells so good you can eat it. And it's all natural. I am a big fan of this product. One of the few Naughty Boy products I'm a fan of. And lastly, instead of using a towel rub, like the microfiber towel I was trying to do, someone gave me the weirdest suggestion to use a tennis racket. And I swear, I've been using this tennis racket to start these locks over the past couple of days. And I'll probably continue to use this to rub my hair with lightly rather than those microfiber towels. But I started it with the gel. I sprayed my hair with the bottle, dampened it a bit. And then I put some of the gel in, a little bit of the gel, and then I did this, and I would rub it around on my head. And because of the bigger holes, it allows for my hair texture to fit and actually start to curl in there, opposed to like the small sponge. My hair was, I don't know, wouldn't fit in the holes in the sponge. So I did that, and I kind of got some patterns going. I'm like, okay, now that the patterns are started, I could take the crochet hook and just twist it and lock it up. And since the gel's in there, it's making it really like stiff, and it's staying locked. I'm impressed. So essentially, this was my first mistake in my freeform journey. The time I spent with the tennis racket and the crochet hook and ray on my hair, it was time I could have spent doing anything else, because I realized that once those nubs started, the freeform efforts came into play on their own right after the fact that the freeforms basically took over any manipulating that I had done. The new growth that Freeform did made a whole new growth pattern that anything I was trying to direct with those single and crocheted tips that I did. Moral of the story is, even though I manipulated the sides of my hair, the new growth I never touched, and therefore these locks are freeform. There is no such thing as this semi-freeform, but I transitioned from an attempt of crocheted and tennis racketed dreads to freeforms, and I did it successfully. So the next few portions of this video are going to be showing you now where the stubs go until the freeforms take place and starting to grow and mature. In case you've been wondering, this is how my locks turned out after 4 hours of crochet hooking. Yes, my locks may be freeform, but I started them out with crocheted sides and backs just to see if the nubs would make a difference in my journey. And I have just been taking a break. I'm just leaving the top undone because I really want to see how it looks after I shower and have the top curly and have the dreads in the side. And these were crochet hooked. I mean, they're not the neatest, but they have you know, the definition of locks. Definitely. This is now going to be probably around a month. Now, I'll view from my whole head here. You can see that it is getting nappier, and it is starting to lock a bit better. Basically, I have been procrastinating on washing a microfiber towel, and the benefit of having short locks is that it dries a lot quicker. I'm really digging that part. Pace. I don't know, but that's where I'm at with my dreadlocks. So I'm gonna cut this video short. No word of a lie, instead of the towel rub, I tried a tennis racket even for a week or two. It kind of does work, it kind of hurts at the same time. Looking at the front of my head, the top afro locks are coming in quite well. There is a few specifically that have started to take shape. As you can just see here on my head, it is taking quite its time. You gotta be patient growing locks, of course. There's no need to rush, no need to feel like it's not working, because it is. Time will fix it over, a period of months, years even. But this is the one I wanted to show you actually. This is my most matured freeform lock. That one beside it, like in that general area, is where these locks are starting to form. I mean, it's still not fully matured, but it is the best progression I've seen on these locks since I've stopped combing my hair. So I'm glad to know that it is working. I'm just gonna keep waiting it out. Basically around the 6-month stage was when my dread fro on the top was really starting to naturally section itself out. The portions that I did crochet, they were a little bit more mature than the rest of my dreads, but they still ended up congoing back together with the other locks on the side. So it was like the manipulated force that I used at the beginning was rendered useless because all those locks ended up congoing together anyways. But it was cool to see the experiment take place. And the dread fro here, you can actually still see going quite well. At this point here, you can really see the congos on the side that I was talking about. Despite the fact that I had made all those side dreads very singular, they still came together and formed bigger dreads within all the new growth. I just wear it like this. It's a really easy fix, and it's actually just like a bra strap headband from Dollarama, Walmart, wherever you want to get them from. These are my locks today. I gave it a wash like 2 days ago, so my dryness is not as bad right now, but it is still permanent. Still need to do an apple cider vinegar rinse. I've been procrastinating on that a little bit. But what has been happening here is, oh yeah, I wanted to take this out and see at some point. The fingers on it are, eventually they will combine up together over time. All these, so I can see kind of how they're gonna form out after a while. So I mean, it's definitely a benefit if you live in the tropics in growing dreads. So that's why I see a lot more dreads like in Florida, in the hotter states. Just the climate is a lot easier to grow. A lot of them have been joining up more, like on the top, like these two are now joining the new growth. Another tier of Congos. And at this point now, I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm done separating, I think, for like a long while, because they're pretty much like, I've only separated really once. I went through like one session of separating my shits out, but nowadays, I'm just kind of like, I don't even care about separating. Let it grow, man. So if you guys have any comments, questions, leave them down below. Of course, I always want to hear your thoughts. This time around, I am growing my locks out a lot thicker. Yeah. But what I've noticed in this past month or so is I was getting really dry scalp. So that's why I did the really good wash today.
And now we're going to be in the salt water.
And we'll go into the salt water and sunshine really soon, so that should help with the coloring of them and more maturing, but they are pretty mature as it is. And now those two have become a one dread here. And it's getting pretty heavy as well. But other than that, I mean, that's all I've really noticed out here. One night, my hair was wet and I just stood out here on the balcony. Even though it was nighttime, the warm wind still dried it pretty quick. So that was a bonus as well. The only thing about salt water is swimming in the ocean will bring sand into your hair. I even find that the salt water left in your hair like overnight or over a couple days can become itchy. So I always try to rinse it out after my day of swimming. Even if it's in the chlorine pool. I'd rather have the chlorine sit in my hair than the salt water for longer. I don't know why. Very wispy. Back of my head looking more solid than the front, mainly because of the sleeping that occurs on the back of my head. It kind of helps the maturing and the processing of accelerating your lock process, what have you. This one was like 4 locks that combined into one. More like a finger lock, very wispy ends, very flat. And at the moment, this one's curling because as it grows longer, the curl pattern, the growth pattern makes it flip upside down. It's quite strange. These ones here at the back, you can see the discoloration on the top of them. Very joined up. Loving the situation with them. I'm just kind of letting them grow, letting them go. Ain't much more to it. I will do my best to not put any product of Babylon, meaning metal, tools, crochet hooks, latch hooks, hair clips, any of that sort. No metal to the scalp, no razor blades, no trim up, no tapers, you know. I'm just trying to keep it natural on the top. Knot Nation Instagram page is up, so go over there and check it out. Follow, submit your photos, get featured on the page, and definitely go check out the vlog channel because there's new content every single day. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video because it did take quite some effort and some time to put together all these clips and old photos in chronological order. Make sure you guys show your support, smash that subscribe button, go check out the Knot Nation Instagram page. I also got daily vlogs happening, links in the description. But in terms of dread videos, I have another live stream coming out today and tomorrow at 4:20 p.m. Come by, ask some questions. Everything is all cool and chill. We get lit. So I'll see you guys over there. Peace out. One love.